watch the MTO Misses. And so we're going to talk about our trip to Germany. That was our 2026 summer trip here that we took. And so it was a fun trip, but of course it was marred with a lot of rain, sometimes at some really bad times, and also a lot of train delays. That system is kind of messed up right now, but anyway, we really enjoyed it. We did. So we're going to start with our first video here. And this one, we went to Göppingen for Anthony to get his trains checked at Märklin shop. It has the museum there, and there's a repair shop in there. So Anthony made a video on that, so you can watch that. From there, then we needed a little bit of time to regroup, so we went to Hohenstaufen to go up to the castle, or the remains of the castle of the Hohenstaufer. Sorry, Hohenstaufer. You're going to take some of that out, I hope. And the castles are ruins, but it's still really well organized up there. It was a nice hike up to the hill, and there were signs that showed what was where, so those are always nice when you have those. And so we went through those. The view up there was fantastic. It was nice just to sit for a little while and just take in the view that we had up on top. Here we go.
Here comes our train. On our first trip to Göppingen. Hey, 3 years later, we're back here again. We're going to go in, drop off a couple of my trains for repair. We're going to go see a couple of things in here, or on the other side I didn't see when I was here last time. Absolutely forgot. Alright, what I forgot to film last time. The big 44 in the box. This is the actual Märklin Factory here. And the Märklineum, which we'll go into a little bit later. But there's that. So that's cool. So that's the Märklineum and the Toy Museum up above. The Märklin Toy Museum. And then right, Joyce and I just got dropped off in the town of Hohenstaufen, Rathaus Dorfplatz, Village Square. I don't know which one of these is the Rathaus. But we're going to hike up to see the ruins, and the sign says this way. So off we go, hiking up the side of a hill. Okay, so we've been hiking for a few minutes up a very steep hill. I don't know if anything here shows how steep it is. But now we're up here. Now, and War Memorial. Two different Carl angles. Maybe cousins. The Knaus family. Ernst Wahl, Wilhelm Wahl, Wilhelm Wahl. Well, you got two Wilhelm Wahls, born 3 years apart. I doubt they'd be brothers. Born 3 years apart, both named Wilhelm. Probably cousins. So you got World War I and World War II. So you got this little church here. This is called the Barbarossa Church. Hello. Okay. So we're going to continue our hike. Okay. The Barbarossa Kirche one more time. See if I can get one more. Are you ready for your first real nature walk now? We've decided that we're still on jet lag mode. I mean, literally yesterday morning we arrived after 2 days of no sleep, and we went to bed at 8 last night and slept until about 7:30 this morning. So I assume Bergerinnen. Yep. So we go this way. Okay, we're a little ways up the mountain. This is one of the observation views they say is so pretty. Not that far from a drop-off, but we'll see what magic Joyce comes up with. What do you think? All right, again, I don't know if you can tell how steep that is. It's been a steep climb. Maybe look it through there, you can see how steep we've been walking. But we are to the castle ruins. Burg Hohenstaufen. Their old flag.
Hi everybody. We're at the ruins of the Hohenstaufer Castle. Okay, built in the late 11th century. Okay, there's not a lot of it left, but it's quite a hike to get up here, so keep that in mind if you want to visit. All right, so this castle was built at the height of the Hohenstaufer power as they were building their dynasty, as they worked their way into being holy royal emperors.
There you go. Holy Roman Emperors, right. So we're up on the main area. There is not much left of the castle. And some of it was parts that were rebuilt. But yeah, amazing panoramic view where we're standing. You get a full, I mean, you technically can do a full 360, but you got about 270 of the hills around here. Hohenstaufen is a beaut. So Stuttgart is that way. And those very gray hills in the distance are the outer edges of the Black Forest. Did you see this, Jay? It tells you what you're seeing in each direction. So like, you got the Schwäbische Alb is that way.
Okay.
You hear about that because the hall at the German-American festival thing is called the Schwäbische Alb. But that's this way. That's right here. That's the hills over here. And then the gray area that way is the Black Forest. That's the foothills of the Black Forest just beyond Stuttgart out there. Stuttgart is kind of hidden, but it's way out there. And the Main Harterwald. So that forest to the right is the Main Harterwald. And Nürnharterwald. So Nürnharterwald and Main Harterwald. So Berlin is 500 kilometers that way. Got a little tile here that tells us what everything is. The Bayerischen Alpen. It's going down in it. Castle was destroyed during various wars over time, especially those that didn't like the Hohenstaufen dynasty. People were shorter back then. What would really be interesting is to have sort of a map of what the original castle was like and get an idea of where you're standing. These are such smaller rooms, chambers. Were they towers, or is this a well? Would this have been an old cistern, maybe? Well, if it stored water. Because there's a couple of little bits that seem to. So. Even here, those idiots with their stupid locks. Don't do this, people. Don't do this. So, what was the tower? And you have to, otherwise it's probably hard to imagine, but all these trees in this bush there would have been cut back so that they would have had a full view of the valley and everything below to keep an eye on anybody coming in. But look at those beautiful forests lined up right there. Some of the old surviving forest everywhere in a land that at one time was covered in forest. All right. Well, let's head up to the highest part of the castle, which has the least amount of ruins. It has no ruins. Oh, well, speak of the devil, walked right past it. So here's a little map of the castle. Ah, I was right. It was a cistern. I was standing right there. The difference between a well and a cistern is you have a well where is a source of water. A cistern is a place where you collect water. And so rain and water, that would flow in through there. Yeah, okay. The Great Peasant War of 1525. That's where Martin Luther really went bad.
Bad?
Yes.
You didn't like the peasants?
That's the great thing. In the Great Peasant War, the Great Peasant Revolt, Martin Luther had just come into power, and the peasants, and he had written letter to the princes saying, you need to treat peasants better. Yeah. You need to treat, those of you who are following me, you know, this is 5 years, all right, let's try it one more time. 6 years after his appearance at the Diet of Worms, where he really basically officially was broken from the Catholic Church. But when the Great Peasant Revolt broke out, he had been urging princes to treat the peasants and common folk better. Unfortunately, they did not heed him. And the Great Peasant Revolt broke out. Well, the thing is, he's trying to start his religion, his church, and he needs money and protection more than he needs congregants. So he basically used quotes in the Bible and told the princes to shut the revolt down and shut it down hard. And about 100,000 peasants were killed. And some call it the Great Betrayal. But it was sadly a political move. He needed the support and the money and the protection of the princes more than he needed the peasants coming to his church. So it was kind of a dirty deal. A national monument on Hohenstaufen. So there is a society where they've talked about rebuilding it. Kaiser Wilhelm I is called Barba Blanca as opposed to Barbarossa. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to rebuild the castle as a monument, but they didn't. All they got was this little statue up here. All right. More fantastic. Oh, what a view here. But this has got a list of the Hohenstaufen, a mountain, a castle, a dynasty, a time period, a mythology. And that's written in Italian or Dynastia. On this side, Untergangen ist die Sonne der Welt, die den Völkern leuchtete. Untergangen die Sonne der Gerechtigkeit, untergangen der Hort des Friedens. Interesting. In Latin. But yeah, the first Hohenstaufen was Konrad III, because that was always a joke with my students, is that if you name somebody Konrad, if he was already part of a dynasty, don't name him a Konrad. And if you're hoping to start a dynasty, name him Konrad, because there were a lot of Conrads that were either the first or last of a dynasty.
Yeah, not much in the middle, huh?
No. So you had Konrad III, he was the first. His nephew, Frederick Barbarossa. Now, there was a whole lot of argument and debate as to whether Konrad III should have been emperor. The Welf family thought they deserved it. But the electorate named Frederick Barbarossa emperor. He ruled until he died on the Third Crusade. His son Henry VI died, and there's a lot to believe he was poisoned. And then his grandnephew, or whatever it was, Philip von Schwaben, who technically, although part of the dynasty, was not a true Hohenstaufen. He was merely filling in the blanks because technically Friedrich II should have been the king early on, but he was excommunicated, and so he wasn't officially given the throne until 1220. He ruled for 30 years and was called Stupor Mundi. And then Henry VII, who never ruled. Conrad IV. And then his son, Konradin, which meant the little Conrad. He was only 16. I said 1269 earlier. It was 1268 according to this. But yeah, he got executed. He was 16. Shouldn't have been executed, but they were trying to stop the Hohenstaufens once and for all. After Stupor Mundi and Barbarossa, they were these divine right kings needed to go. Full authority kings. Yeah, what's really cool about this is the same thing as we had on the other side, but so Nordlingen, famous battle, couple of famous battles fought there, off in the distance. Oh, but look at that hill right there. That is cool. And then the plains. So these are cool. Could stand here and study them, but I think we're just admiring the view instead. Yep. The Lowensteiner Berge, the Lowenstein Hills. All right.